So, Janet, I don't know what more to do when it comes on to you. Each episode, it's just not working, baby. It's not working. I am getting sick and tired of your behavior and this victim behavior that you love to portray. Like, if you want to play a villain, play the villain role and play the villain role really well. You basically saying stuff and stirring the drama, and then when you're confronted, it's that you play pretty much like a Karen. And I was with Jasmine when Jasmine said that you have a Karen behavior. I don't understand why is it that you feel like you want to say what you want to say, and then when you're confronted, it's as you want to walk away. You no longer have your pregnancy to use as an excuse. Now, what is your excuse as to why you feel like you can say and do what you want to do and then just walk away from the situation? And I am just literally over the whole situation of it all when it comes on to Janet. We got into the episode, so we saw where the gang they all got together for the first of all before we got to the beat scene. So apparently again we have Sheena on our screen, and she was having some party at her house, and she basically had the like we had Janet over and all those persons, and of course Janet was in the kitchen. Of course she had to mention to the group that the whole ring comment of it all, and we saw where she seemed like she was not so bothered by the comments when they were at Britney's party, but now she's in the kitchen now talking her big one, basically saying that Kristen now has a target on her back, and pretty much Janet, it's coming off as if that Jasmine lied about the actual comment about this ring, that allegedly Jason takes his ring off when he goes out. And she was pretty much like found on her next storyline, because I guess she can no longer harp on the whole Danny of it all. But let's see. And she was more concerned and bothered by the fact that this is now something that they're talking about, and how she was laughing it off, but then when she went to her mom and they mentioned it to her mom pretty much was really upset about it, and that made her upset. And this is a Karen type of behavior I get from Janet. It's like she's always blaming or finding an excuse for someone else as to why she has to internalize or feel a way about something. And I don't know if it's just editing. I don't know if it's just really her personality. And maybe in real, because they keep saying, especially Britney, saying that's not the Janet they know of her being a shit stirrer and being a drama person. But it always seems as if that whenever there is some issue going on, she always feels like she needs to say that the reason why she's behaving this way is because either her mom was angry, so now she's angry, or she's going to change it to say when she was pregnant, so she cannot take the drama, or this is the reason why she's so upset and whatever. It's always something with Janet. We got to the beach. They had like a beach scene together, and I think this is where she, of course, apparently there was a flashback where we saw Brittany and Jasmine having the conversation, and Jasmine was like, she wasn't apologizing because it's not like she lied about it. So she heard it from someone and she shared it with Zach, and of course we know Zach is the one who said it to Kristen. But she felt like she isn't going to apologize about the comment because it's not like she just made up the comment. No, they're at the beach scene, and we had Janet and Jason over there whispering to each other, saying that she is basically going to see if Jasmine is going to first initiate the conversation between the two. But we already have Jasmine, who is like, I'm not saying anything because she doesn't feel like she did anything wrong. And of course, Janet doing her countdown to say how she's giving her another minute. If she's not said anything, then Jason can go over and ask her if they could speak. And I think when he went over and asked to speak, she was pretty much down to have a conversation. And of course, I get why Janet was there, but I think if they had such a long friendship, I think it should have just been kept between the two. But we know Janet needs to be there because she's like the brain when it comes on to Jason. So while they were there and she was asking the question, we had Janet keep on chiming in because she's not hearing what she wants to hear. Janet wants someone who is going to pretty much cave into whatever narrative that she wants to portray for the person. So if she wants you to apologize and feel bad about what you said, you better say it that way and come off that other way. Because if you're doing anything opposite than what she wants the narrative to be, she strays away from the conversation and she wants to walk away from the conversation. And that's literally what she was doing on the beach when Jasmine was having a conversation with both of them. Janet, was not hearing what she wanted to hear. So she basically wanted to shut the conversation down. And of course, that just lets Jasmine a bit more irate because you cannot dictate how a conversation should go. Like, listen to the other person's part, the other person, and then move accordingly. But you cannot, like, you're just listening to respond instead of listening to comprehend or understand whatever the person is saying. And for Jasmine, it really pissed her off. And I think she had also a bottle of feelings, which she did share on the beach with when they left, that she has other issues with Janet. And with Janet doing what she did, it made her more upset in wanting to shut her down. And of course, she did call Janet a Karen. No, I don't know, but I have been feeling that Janet gives Karen vibes based on her actions at times. She tends to throw rocks and then hide her hands. She tends to play the victim quite well. She tends to always say someone is shouting at her or yelling at her. Last season we saw her where she did all of her drama and then she turned around and say that she's pregnant. So we need to understand or act accordingly because she's pregnant. So I kind of did get Karen vibes from her. So it was kind of nice to see the only black girl on screen kind of called out what I was feeling when it comes on to Janet. Not saying that she's necessarily racist or anything, but sometimes her actions that she portrays gives off Karen behavior. And that's something where I'm like, you need to get that shit under control because you're not looking good on the screen. And I know you tried to come back this season trying to self-produce yourself and it just did not work out, but it's not looking good. Okay, so we got to the next scene where we saw Janet was in the living room with her husband Jason, and this is where we saw she is still upset about what went down on the beach, where she basically felt like her friendship with Jasmine feels like a lie because of the stuff that Jasmine clearly has bottled in when it comes on to their friendship. I watched the scene. I did not care for it because I honestly just don't buy any emotion that comes out of Janet as authentic. I feel like she's just playing it for the audience to act as if like she really cares that her friendship with with Jasmine has gone down or the blow up. I don't really think she really cares. I think she's really happy that Jason now probably more likely won't be friends with Jasmine, and now she has Jason more for herself. But we then got where he says that he has been missing missed calls from Jax. And again, producers, I am just sick and tired of every episode we're seeing the same video montage of Jax. I don't know if you guys just really because you want to try to include him in each episode, but I am not feeling anything from these conversations that he's having, whether it's on camera or whether if it is when he's having this phone conversation. To me, all I am seeing is that this is just heavily produced. He doesn't necessarily feel any way about it because I can guarantee you, give him next season, he's going to be saying the same messed up, fucked up shit. Like, we have seen this cycle time and time and time again when it comes on to Jax. And for him now, and for persons to really be buying into thinking that he has now supposedly seen the light and he is trying to correct his wrongs, I don't buy it. And even the conversation he had with Jason to me was like, I didn't get anything from that conversation. I felt like you're just saying this just to look good on TV. In reality, I don't think you feel like you did anything wrong when it came on to your marriage with Brittany. And again, I'm not necessarily sympathizing with Britney because I feel like Britney really put up with a lot of this shit time and time again. And I don't know if she just did it for the sake of having a story, or she's just really that weak where she kept on forgiving and thinking there was some sort of change when it comes on to him. But I necessarily do not feel any sympathy from either parties. But I am just tired of seeing the same thing with Jax coming on my screen with these rehearsed video testimonials that he's doing basically from the supposed rehab, and then now the supposed phone call he had with Jason, which again to me it's like, oh my god, now you finally seen the light. And I think maybe that's something why he keeps on getting away with stuff like this, because he gives off this performance and then persons accept the performance and congratulate him on this performance as if like he's doing something so wonderful. And I think this is why he keeps getting away with doing this foolishness and no one is holding him really accountable. Of course, we then got to the next scene where we saw Brittany is now moved back into the house. So we saw where previously where Jason was having the conversation with Janet obviously in the background. And he was saying that their podcast, they make a lot of money off of the podcast. So the money that they make from the podcast is going to make she have everything so she can get the mortgage back up to date, because we have seen that he has not paid the mortgage from May. Now, the next scene we saw where she's back in the house, and she is now putting sticky notes over the camera, because apparently Jax has access to the camera. He tends to watch to see what's going on, which is really creepy behavior. And then, of course, we saw where he was now listening in, and then he messaged one of the producers to say to her that he's hearing everything and that's childish behavior. Make sure she got it on film. And I kind of said it. Like, the conversation he had with Jason, I did not buy it. I did not think he was actually authentic or genuine in anything that he was saying. And it's the same cycle, and I'm just sad that persons keep falling for it. Like, they keep thinking that because he is going into rehab, he is getting better or he's learning. Or the fact that he basically goes on his video testimonials and says this stuff for the audience, which is the world to see. But then he's then rage texting her and saying the complete opposite than what he's saying on camera. It's like he is not necessarily learning. And for Britney, I feel it's the same thing from her. It's like every time you come on each episode, you say that you are hoping that he sees the light and he will fight for you. Why will he fight for you? Why would you want him to fight for you? Like, aren't you learning anything from the situation? He will never change. Accept it. Be thankful that you have a child out of the situation and just move on with your life. You're supposedly current day much stronger than you were when this episode was filmed, but you need to just accept it and move on with your life. This constant hoping and wishing, and you're seeing this little side and then you're seeing that side. Like, I'm sure you have seen those sides throughout the many years that you were with him, when 1 minute he's up and then 1 minute he's low. So I don't know why for now you feel like because he's supposedly trying to get help, you think that he's actually getting help. And for you to be that dumb where you feel as if that there is some hope for you guys to get back together or the marriage to reconcile, then I don't know what more you want from us. Do you want empathy or sympathy from the audience, or is it that you just want us to just buzz out? Because each time you keep getting your way out and having good reasons to leave, but then you're still hoping for it to work out. And I don't know what more is it that you're expecting from us. But I am just really tapped out when it comes on to this situation. Like, I have nothing more to give when it comes on to Brittany and Jax. I feel like they're both playing us in our faces when it comes on to their relationship or marriage. And I do not care anymore. But let me know, guys, what your thoughts were on the episode. Remember, guys, to comment and like the video. Also, remember to subscribe to the channel. Do you still care about this storyline when it comes on to Jackson and Brittany? Because I honestly don't. I'm kind of happy that this episode did not involve anything when it comes on to Danny and his drinking and all of that situation. But I'm just really over the Jackson Brittany storyline, and yeah, that's just me. But I'll see you guys in the next video, and remember, guys, to subscribe. Bye, y'all.